we're going to do a tutorial on how to clean razor clams. So first I'll go through some of the things that you're going to need to get started. A good pair of scissors. You can use any scissors you want. These are kitchen shears, but you can use any scissors that you like that feel good in your hands, that are sharp. You're also going to need some razor clams. So these are already processed out of their shells. If you need to figure out how to get this far, you can Google it, get on YouTube and look to see how to get them out of their shells. These were just moments ago. They're alive and now they're cold. They're room temperature, so they're ready to clean. You're also going to need a tub of water, a colander, and a couple of micro brews. So we'll get to those in a moment. I'm going to actually just clean one, and hopefully Mary will get some close-up of me doing it. I'll just do one real quick, and then we'll kind of go backward through the steps. We'll do it twice. Some people use running water to do this. It's nice to have a sink with running water nearby if you can, but I'm doing it this way to show you that you don't actually need running water. This way you can have multiple people cleaning. You don't have to be standing over the sink to do it. But I like to have running water handy. You can kind of use the force of the water to do some of the cleaning for you. This water is actually really cold, so my hands are, if I continue doing this for very long, my hands are going to be really cold. You should also find a place where you're comfortable standing, or you can sit at the kitchen table and do this, because it's going to take you a while. I mean, you can see how many, this is about half of what we caught today, so we'll have 4 times this total in a weekend. What's that, over about 90 clams. So, you know, it's going to take a considerable amount of time. This took me about a minute to do. You can give yourself a couple minutes to do a really thorough job. You got to get all the dark parts out. So, all right. So, did I have another place I was going to put these? No, I don't. So, okay, let's go back through some of the stuff we got here. The beer, you want to have a couple of these. I would say get started, drink one before you even do anything at all, and then open the second one as you get set up, because you got to keep hydrated. The colander has a purpose too. After you get done with cleaning a good, dozen clams or so in this water, it's going to be really murky. And just disgusting. So you should dump it through the colander when you dump it down the sink, because you don't want to put too much guts down your drain. Okay, let's do a slow version. We'll take a look at what I'm doing here. So you stick one end of the scissors down into this area here. We call this the zipper, right? So you're cutting through some of the flesh here, right up one of the valves of the neck, and then find your way into the other valve with the bottom of the scissor again, cutting all the way up, opening up the neck all the way up, and then snip off the end. Or you can snip the end just to get started too. These are the gills. You want to remove those completely. You can flush cut them like that, or snip around, doesn't really matter. So, and you'll find some of these nooks and crannies that have some of this black, gooky, gutsy stuff, and you want to remove it. So now I'm cutting through kind of the body, the middle of the body. That separates out this, and you can keep it all in one piece like I did. Most people try to keep it one piece. But this part will separate. This is the digger, and this is the body. This will just sort of fall off, and it'll disconnect if you're not careful. And that's just okay. That's not a big deal if it does. In fact, we'll talk about that in a minute, about why sometimes I think that you should separate them. These are some pretty good sized razor clams. So,
what do you cut in there?
Okay, so here's the digger. It's kind of the best part of the clam. It's full of guts about from here to here, but to get this part to cook right, I like to butterfly it all the way. So you're getting right in there, right down the middle. Try to cut it as evenly as possible, all the way up to get it butterflied. You could use a knife for this too, I guess, but scissors really do a better job. And then get it open. Now, see, you can see the difference between some of the guts in here, some of the entrails, and then there's this pulpy stuff here. And the pulpy stuff is really good, and the brown black stuff is not really good. So you got to kind of be as efficient as possible. I usually put the scissors down at this point, use my fingers to try to use water and my fingers to remove the black stuff without really destroying any of the lighter colored stuff. And it's kind of hiding in there, so you do have to use technique to get that out of there. Sometimes you can pull it out in little threads. Keep dipping in there. This is when it's time, when having a faucet running, which I'm not doing that because it probably would sound weird on video, but it would be good. It'd be useful to have kind of a blast of water pushing some of this stuff out of there. But you really want to take your time with this and get it, completely done. This isn't really something you can just get about 3/4 of the way done and be like, well, that's good enough, because it just really isn't. It's like you have a.
It's like eating poop.
Yeah, you don't eat poop, and I mean, it's not like little clams either that just doesn't matter that much when you eat the guts. These won't get you sick or anything, but it's just it's such a, I think, a high quality product that deserves the attention. Alright, so I'm getting pretty close here. Sometimes you'll encounter a clam that got damaged by a shovel, and when that happens, when the shovel gets into the clam, you have to really kind of scrub it to get the sand out. And you do want to have some good light overhead and look for sand. Get your eyeballs all over it. Make sure that you got all the sand off of it. Like, see, I see some sand here. But I think I did a pretty good job with this one. And then you can give it a final rinse before you dredge it and fry it. So one of the things I was talking about was separating. So if we pull these apart, this part of the clam cooks a lot differently than this part. This is like kind of like a calamari type of texture. It does really well with really light cooking, 1 minute per side. And this can handle a lot more. The digger you can cook much more like a steak, or a piece of fish. You can get it cooked all the way through until it's sizzling and the fats start to sizzle out. So some people do separate them and cook them separately, but my family doesn't really do it that way. So that's how you do it. Take your time. Take a couple minutes on each clam or more. Teach your kids how to do this so that you don't have to. And that's the way to clean a razor clam.